You know, when we talk to an AI, especially one that's sifting through massive amounts of data, there's this hidden cost, something most of us just don't think about. We're so focused on what the AI can do, but how we feed it information is creating this huge invisible tax on the whole process.
Look at that number, $219,000. That's a huge number, right? Well, that's potentially how much it could cost a single platform every year just to send its data to an AI. And we're not talking about some giant corporation here. This is for a company doing maybe 1,000 analyses a day. The cost isn't the AI, it's the cost of the conversation.
See, here's the thing. AI models, they price their services by the token. Think of it like they're billing you by the word. So when we use these chatty, inefficient data formats like JSON, we're literally paying for unnecessary words, for syntax, for repetition over and over and over again. This can blow up costs by as much as 4 times. It's a massive drag on innovation, all because we're using a language that just wasn't built for this new AI world.
Okay, so here's the plan for this explainer. First, we're going to dig into why this is such an expensive problem. Then, we'll introduce the solution, this new language called TSLN. We'll look at how it works, and then, and this is the really important part, we're going to put it to the test with some hard benchmark data. Finally, we'll see what this all means for the future of AI.
All right, let's dive right in. For years, decades, JSON has been the king of the hill for web data. It's great because it's easy for us humans to read and work with. But here's the kicker. It was never, ever designed for the paper token world we live in now, with modern AI.
Now just take a look at this. It's night and day, right? On the left, you've got JSON. See how the words timestamp, symbol, and price are repeated for every single data point. All those quotes, all those commas, they add up fast. Now look at the right. That's TSLN. The structure is defined one time, up top, and then the data is just the data. It's so obvious how much waste is just gone.
And that brings us to the solution, TSLN. It stands for Time Series Lean Notation. And this isn't just some small tweak on an old idea. It was built from the ground up for one single purpose, to make our conversations with AI as cheap and efficient as they can possibly be.
So what's the magic behind it? Well, it's built on a few really smart ideas. It's schema first, which sounds technical, but it just means you lay out the blueprint once, at the beginning. It's temporally aware, meaning it's super smart with time-based data. It uses adaptive encoding to pick the right compression trick for the right kind of data. And crucially, it's lossless and totally AI-friendly. It's still just text, but man, is it a whole lot smarter. So how do those big ideas actually translate into huge savings? Let's get into the secret sauce. It really all comes down to these clever encoding tricks that are designed to just demolish redundancy.
Okay, here are some of its best moves. For timestamps that come in at regular times, instead of sending the whole long date, it just sends a 0. It's basically saying, yep, same time as usual. For numbers, like prices, it only sends the change, like plus 125.50, instead of the whole new number. And my favorite, this is so smart. For a value that's the same as the one before, it just sends an equal sign. These sound like tiny little tricks, but when you scale them up, they are incredibly powerful.
Okay, the theory is fantastic. It all sounds amazing on paper. But in tech, talk is cheap, right? The only thing that really matters is performance. So, TSLN was put through the ringer, a benchmark gauntlet, tested on over 85,000 data points across all sorts of industries, just to see if it could really walk the walk.
And this is the moment of truth. After all that smart design and all those clever tricks, what's the actual real-world impact? How much better is it? And boom! The results are just wow. Across the board, crypto data, stock market data, IoT sensor data, it doesn't matter. TSLN consistently slashes the token count by around 70% compared to JSON. Just look at that chart. It's a blowout. It's not even a close fight.
And here's what's so important to see. TSLN isn't just beating up on the old, bloated, standard JSON. It's also crushing other formats that were supposed to be token optimized, like Tune. It's outperforming them by another 30 to 40%. These benchmarks prove that its special design for time series data gives it this massive advantage. This isn't just a little improvement, it's a huge leap.
Now, you're probably thinking, okay, what's the catch? There's got to be a downside. And yeah, there's a tiny one-time cost. As you can see, encoding to TSLN takes a few more milliseconds than just using JSON, but you pay that tiny cost once, up front, and then you get the massive 70% savings every single time you talk to the AI. It's an unbelievably smart trade-off.
So, The benchmarks are incredible, no doubt about it. But what do these percentages and charts actually mean for a business, for a developer, for you? Let's translate this from benchmark data into real-world breakthroughs. What does a 70% cost reduction actually unlock?
Well, for starters, it unlocks a lot of money. For a platform that processes 1 million records a day, that 70% savings in tokens means over $18,000 in cash saved every year. That's a new hire. That's a serious investment in new features.
And it kicks off this awesome chain reaction. The token reduction leads directly to huge savings. Those savings mean you can suddenly afford to send the AI 4 times more historical data to look at in a single request. And more context means the AI can give you faster, deeper, and way more accurate analysis. It turns out efficiency is a direct path to intelligence.
And listen, this isn't just theory. This is out in the wild. A live crypto analytics platform made the switch to TSLN. Their cost dropped by 74%. Their analysis got 60% faster, and boom, they could give their AI 4 times the context for every single query. That's the kind of breakthrough that happens when you fix the very language you're speaking.
So what's the big takeaway from all this? It's pretty simple, actually. For years, we've worried about things like CPU speed and bandwidth. But in the age of AI, the new bottleneck, the new thing we all have to worry about, is token efficiency. The cost of just talking to an AI is becoming the biggest limit on what we can build.
So it really leaves you with this one big question, doesn't it? If data really is the new oil, how much of it are we just burning off in a leaky, inefficient refinery? It seems pretty clear that the future of data isn't just about getting bigger anymore. It's about getting a whole lot smarter and a whole lot leaner.